everybody. It's Jody Seeley with Our High River as we walk through meeting all of the candidates for both mayor and council with the town of High River. And joining us for our next chit chat is Brenda Walsh, who is running for the position of councillor with the town. Brenda, thank you so much for taking some time in these last few critical days to have a little conversation with us.
Oh, thank you for the invitation, Jody.
So I thought we would start off because we know we got a lot of feedback through Our High River that people were not sure where to get more information from. So we thought we would do these videos to help educate people. So let's start out with learning just a little bit about who you are, Brenda, and why you decided to put your hat in the ring to run for council.
Okay. Well, there's a variety of things. For me, when I came to High River in 2017, we were just coming into the election at that time. And I I felt strongly that I want to be a part of this. And of course, I was new to town, and fast forward 4 years, here we are. I feel like I've been fairly involved in the community as a whole, between, the Chamber of Commerce, CVAC, volunteering, the arts culture. I've done a few things that has given me a good feel for the town and the things that I like and what I see people liking or don't liking. And so to step forward and be part of the process from the town council perspective, I've been very involved in the business community with the Chamber of Commerce. And I just feel like I can do a little bit more in bringing people together, bridging the gap, creating community connections, and that's the basis of what I have in mind.
That's awesome. Well, we know if there's lots of elements when it comes into stepping into a council position, that there'd be a lot of ideas and thoughts and challenges moving into that role. But we wanted to streamline a little bit of information and start with the question of what you feel your top 3 priorities would be should you get elected into that role. What are your top 3 priorities, and how do you see that sort of starting to take effect or roll out?
Well, my first priority is going to be getting familiar with the other people on the council group, because that's going to be a whole bunch of new faces, and learning where we're at, picking up where the other councillors have stepped aside. Sorry about, I'm just getting these interruptions here. The council's done an amazing job, our current council, and they have a few things that are on the go already. So I'd like to become more familiar with those and see where, we pick up and carry on. I think that overall, the small business community has really, really been challenged in this last couple of years. And one of my priorities is to increase the communication between our small businesses amongst each other, but also pointing them in the direction of the resources available, be it Community Futures, the Chamber of Commerce things. There's all kinds of really great stuff available. And then thirdly, the pool expansion is an interesting part of this election. It is something that I think will benefit the community in the recreation and arts and culture end of things that affect the people. So those are my priorities as far as the things I'd like to initiate to accomplish some results. Should I be elected in the next 4 years, I can do something that way.
That's awesome, Brenda. Thank you. Well, one of the things people gave us feedback on too was that they wanted to make sure that whoever they elected into the next council was really on board with being transparent, with respect. And then there's the AUMA Local Democracy Pledge is what it's called. And so if people aren't familiar with that, it's basically helping to keep local politics local with those transparency and sort of respect elements. So what are your thoughts on a pledge like this? And is it something that you'd be willing to sign and be a part of should you get elected?
Absolutely. I actually, I read through that last night, and I'm surprised that there's a document, because that is how we're supposed to do this, isn't it? But I'm grateful there's a document outlining it, so it's seen more widely. Keeping elections local, it is local. We're here representing the people of High River and our community, and the focus on the things that we can do at a municipal level need to stay there. It's wonderful that, when we can make an impact provincially, such as the coal mining and things like that, it's nice to know that collectively our voice can make that difference. But my primary focus is the community that we live in and making it the best possible place that it can be. Independence and nonpartisanship. That's another huge thing as far as the transparency and being here for the people and not swayed one way or the other. Transparency, as I already mentioned. I am absolutely that person that I do say it as it is, and it's not always everybody's favorite response, but complete transparency in my mind is the only way to operate. That way there's no question as to where we're going or what we're doing. And then engaging in respectful behavior, that's just a given. To me, I was speaking with some people earlier, and we were talking about, some of the things that are said from behind a keyboard, and they're posted online in different platforms. And the three people that I was having this conversation with, we all looked at each other and clearly identified that we're of a generation that you wouldn't dream of saying some of those things. So why is it okay to be so disrespectful? And anyways, that's the primary basis of how I operate in my life, not just in politics. So I'm all for this, and I've printed the document, and I'm proud to display that.
That's awesome. Thank you, Brenda. Well, you kind of alluded to this before in your priorities in sort of getting up to speed with what our current council's strategic plan has looked like and incorporating what a new plan will look like. But we were wondering thoughts on that current number one strategic priority, which is our long-term water strategy for High River. And what are your thoughts on that?
Yes, and that's a great thing to talk about. As we grow and expand, we do need to be very mindful of where we're going and what resources, renewable or not, we have for us in High River. And the long-term plan as far as our water, my understanding is that the town has allocated X amount of water will be provided to the MD, and they can then disperse it going forward, whether how much they share in different developments, be it housing in that area, etc. And I think that type of approach to water management, any type of community growth management, is really, really important. I have known in some other areas where it's a tiered consumption price. So if you're using X amount of water, it's based on this price per cubic meter. And if you go over that, then it's a premium price and you'll pay more. So like all things that we need to be mindful of how we're using, I think water conservation is a really, really important thing to look at, because we need to manage it effectively. So then the other question is, do we sell the water? Do we enable surrounding communities to use our water system? We do have a pipeline out to Cayley. Now, whether or not now Nanton might want to join in, but I believe that opportunity was offered some time ago. And in order for us to meet those demands, we would have to do a lot of work, expensive work, to be able to take water pipeline out that far. All of those things have been brought up, and there's been lots of conversation around it. But I do believe that proper allocation of what we have, prioritizing High River's needs before we go selling the water or distributing into other areas.
Perfect. All right. Thank you, Brenda, for sharing your thoughts on that.
Yeah.
I know we're going into advance polls this weekend. Election day is coming up on Monday. If you're wondering where you vote this year because it's a changed location, just a reminder that it's at the Bob Snodgrass Recreation Complex. And Brenda, if anybody has any more questions or would just like to connect with you further before they go to cast their ballot, what is the best way to do that?
The simplest way would be to contact me by email, and my email specifically for this campaign purpose is walsh4council@gmail.com, gmail.ca.
You're like,
Hmm.
it's probably .com.
I think it's .com.
Sorry. We'll verify and post
Council.
with this video, so not to worry about that. But
That's good. That's
if
good.
email's
And
the best route, that's what we want to know. Yeah.
yeah, I also I do have some presence on Facebook. If you wish to kindly ask a question or send me a message via Messenger, if that's easier for people. But I'm very available. I'm always just a call away. I do have my business here in High River, where I'm at most of the time. Not always directly available, but I hope people reach out if they have any more questions.
All right. Well, we appreciate your time during the crunch window, as we were referring to that. And we wish you the best of luck in this election, Brenda. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jo.